Good morning, all. We'll wait another 2 minutes because only 20 students are there. In 1 or 2 minutes, remaining students may join. Till they join, we'll see um, your lab list because today you have in the afternoon you have lab. You have .NET lab.
Even B2 yeah, all.
Hi. Yes. Yes.
Even B2 yeah, all men.
I told no. I informed before only no. Till this online class, till the end of this online class, Monday will be .NET Lab for whole class. Not we are not dividing B1, B2, B3, B4. When you come to the
Because
college,
today also mobile applications lab also.
SKT sir told
No, but required to timetable.
that's what according to timetable we have mobile application lab for one batch and other batch has .NET Lab. But in a group also I told no and in last lab also I told. See, once again, I'm telling till the end of this online class, we are not conducting batch wise. Lab means whole class will be there. If today .NET lab means whole class will be having .NET lab. If mobile application lab means whole class will be having mobile application. I think today Tuesday morning mobile application lab MP lab I think. Tuesday morning.
IoT man.
Hmm?
Tuesday morning IoT mini project lab.
That's what that is a mini project only. No, MP lab I'm telling you. MP means what? MA is mobile application. MP is mini project. See, till once again I'm repeating till end of this your online class. We are not conducting batch wise. Whole class will be having a same lab. Whole class has same lab. That is Monday .NET lab, Tuesday IoT lab. That is mini project lab. Tuesday morning. I think Friday, correct. Friday morning, mobile application lab. Today, SKT sir, he has come today only. We'll inform him also. We are not doing batch wise till the end of this online session. When you come, once you come to college, then according to your lab schedule, we'll do B1, B2, B3, B4, whatever it is there. According to the timetable, we do. Okay, students. So today afternoon, you have only .NET lab, no mobile application lab today. Okay, I'll inform to sir also. Sir, SKT sir was on leave. He doesn't know all this, so that's why I'll inform him today. Okay? Yes, students, in last class, we have seen some of the namespaces. In last class, we have seen some of the namespaces. Which are the namespaces we have seen? Which are the namespaces we have seen in last class? System. Why we need system? System namespace. Forgot. We discussed, no? In last class, we have discussed. Still, come on, tell. What's the use of system namespace? Yashashwini? Yashashwini? Yashashwini, why we use system namespace? Can you hear me, Yashashwini? Why we use system namespace? Why we use system namespace? Nayana? Nayana, why we use system namespace? Nayana, why we use system namespace? System namespace.
Ma'am, forgot now.
Forgot. Can I explain that? You understood?
You understood? Yeah, ma'am, I understood, but I can't explain that.
Okay. Yes, so students, once again, I am repeating in Visual Studio, in .NET Framework, we have many namespaces, but the most commonly used namespaces are system.collection, system.collection.generic. In last class I told you you make a note of it, but I think nobody have written. System.data, system.drawing, system.link, system.text, system.windows forms, and system.data SQL clients. If you want, you can take down. See, in C#, in C#, we have many namespaces. Like how in C program we have a header files. In C program we header files. Similarly, in C#, we have different namespaces. The most commonly used namespaces are using .system, using .system.collection. Students, please you remember, because in part B all this we are going to use. It is like preprocessor or statements how we use in C program to execute mathematical functions. What we were including in C program, hash include math.h. Similarly, if you want to execute any program related to drawing, related to database, related to display any text, related to any form, so all these supporting namespaces you have to use in your program. That is using system.collection.generic, using system.data, using system.drawing, using system.link, using system.text, system.windows.forms to create forms. We use this, using system.data.sql client to connect the database from client to server. We use this namespace, and some of the namespaces also we have seen. The system namespace, it includes essential classes and base classes that defines commonly used data types, events, event handler, identifiers, attributes, exception. For these we need this namespace system. Next we have system.collection. System.collection is used to execute a program which has a group of data. For example, list, queues, arrays, hash table, dictionaries. So whichever the program you want to execute, so to support those programs, namespace we have in C#. So you have to use these namespaces in the program. If you are not using these namespaces, then you will not get the output. Suppose if you are using JDBC program, ODBC program, OLEDB program, so all these namespaces you have to include in the program. Students, please don't forget about namespace. In last class we have seen. And next we have type conversion. What is type conversion? Explicitly, see, in type conversion means we are converting the data in whichever the format we want. If I want the data in the form of an integer, I'll convert the data in the form of an integer. If I want to convert the data in terms of decimal, then you have facility to convert the integer data type into a decimal format. So that is nothing but a type conversion. In type conversion, we have two types: explicit conversion and implicit conversion. In implicit conversion, no need to convert by the user. By default, the system only automatically the conversion happens. So the system will be converted. But in case of explicit conversion, in place of explicit conversion, we have to convert. The user have to cast the value in terms of, if you want to convert in terms of integer, then we have to cast explicitly. We have to do it explicitly. The system will not do. But in case of implicit conversion, the system itself will do the value in terms of implicit conversion. So implicit conversion, it occurs automatically. So automatically when you execute a program, by automatically it happens. We are not going to do, the user will not going to do anything in implicit conversion, and it is granted to succeed. So whatever the values, if you want, say for example, you have a value 2.45. If you have a value 2.45, if you display that value in terms of integer value, if you display that value in terms of integer value, so by default it will convert, into integer. So the value, the output will be only 4. Actually my output, my data is 4.5. My data is 4.5, and the data type which I have used is integer. The data type which I have used is integer. So automatically the decimal value will be converted to integer value, and it will succeed in the program. It will not show any error. It will not show any error. So the after precision, whatever the value will be, it will be lost. It will be lost, will not be having any information. So 4.5 will be converted into 4. 4.5 will be converted into 4. So next we have explicit type conversion. In explicit type conversion, we requires to typecast. We requires to typecast in whichever way, in whichever form of data you want to display. Sometimes it may not succeed. Sometimes it may give error. But both this implicit and explicit conversions are user defined. Both this explicit and implicit conversions are user defined. I'll show this example. See here. What is the range of integer data type? Minus 32,678 to plus. Yes, sir. What is the value? What is the range of integer data type? The range of integer data type is minus 32,678 to plus 32,677. But the data which I have taken for integer value is, it is in the form, it is in terms of lakhs, no? It is 1,23,456. So here, this value, x value, I am assigning to the variable y. And this variable y data type is long. Here I am not doing explicitly anything here. Here explicitly I am not doing anything. The system automatically, it will convert this data type, integer data type, into a long data type. It converts automatically. So it is a implicit conversion. Automatically it will be converted. See here, the same value I am converting in short. And I am storing in the variable z. So this is an explicit conversion. I think you all know this because in all the programming languages we have seen this type conversion. Next we have one more example, that is double. That d is equal to 1.223456789. So this value is converted in terms of float. This value will be converted in terms of float, and this is a explicit conversion. And again, this d is converted into the integer, converted into the data type L long. So this is also a explicit conversion. So here we have to typecast. In explicit conversion, we have to typecast. See, here we are doing, here we are doing, here we are doing. But in implicit conversion, by default, the system will only convert. The system will only convert in the form of a whatever the form of whatever the data type we define here, we declare here, in that data type, it will convert. Next we have object. See, object is everything in C hash. Object is everything in C hash. If you see this diagram, you see this hierarchical diagram, the int, double, hash table, file stream, memory stream, everything is inherited from object. Everything is inherited from object means everything is derived from whatever the integer, double, stream, hash tables, IO streams, file stream, memory stream, whatever we are implementing, everything is derived from object. So the object is in everything is in all, means all type is inherited from object. Correct? No, all types is inherited from object. Next we have polymorphism. What is polymorphism? What is the definition of polymorphism? Yes, students, define polymorphism. Define polymorphism. Antima, define polymorphism. Antima, define polymorphism. Antima, define polymorphism. Can you hear me, Antima? Anusha, what is polymorphism? What is the general definition of polymorphism? What is the general definition of polymorphism? Yes, students, you don't know? Anusha, what is the general definition of polymorphism? Answer, respond, please. See, the polymorphism is the ability of an object. It is the ability of an object to take in many forms. Polymorphism is the ability of an object to take in many forms. I'll show the example. I'll show the example in my slide. So here, the polymorphism is the ability to perform an operation of an object without knowing the precise type of an object. Without knowing the precise, see here in this example, without knowing the precise type of an object, whatever the task we are going to give to the polymorphism, it is going to perform. See here, this is a polymorphism method. This is a polymorphism method. Here, first it is displaying. See, what is the general meaning of polymorphism? With a single method, we can perform different operations. Correct? No? Here, with a single poly method, we are displaying the integer value, we are displaying the string value, we are displaying the decimal value, and we are passing the numbers. And that we are calling in our main program. That we are calling in our main program. So similarly, here one hint I'll give you. That is, how does an integer is a value type in the data type we have seen. Integer is a value type and object is a reference type. So integer, how does an integer type can be converted into an object? Here I have a question, that is, how an integer type or how a value type is converted into a object type. So in C hash we have a feature that is boxing. So the boxing is nothing but the process of converting the value type into a reference type. The boxing is nothing but the process of converting the value type into a reference type. What is a general meaning of value and what is a general meaning of reference? So when we listen value, then we understand how it holds the actual value. When we hear reference, then it holds the address of the value. Correct? No? Reference is nothing but the address. So value type holds the actual value, reference type it holds the address. So the process of converting the value type into a object type, that is nothing but boxing. So only the value type get boxed, and reference type we cannot be boxed. See, what is the here you understand, box is nothing but we take one item and put it in the box. Correct? No? So take one item, put it in the box. That process is nothing but boxing. Take a ball and put it in the box, so we are putting some value into the box, so that process is nothing but boxing. And when we want to retrieve the data from the box, then you directly go to the object. From that object we are going to retrieve the data. In that object, what holds? It holds the address. Understood? The boxing is nothing but the putting a value into a box. So here we are putting a value into a reference type. We are putting a value into a object. This object is nothing but a reference type. So coming to this boxing and unboxing. This boxing copies the value type into a reference type. So this boxing does the value type into this boxing converts the value type into a reference type. That reference type is nothing but the object. And the corresponding each value type has a corresponding hidden reference. Correct? No, students? Yes, exactly. Each value will be having a corresponding hidden reference type. Reference type is nothing but the address. Without the address, we cannot store any variable. So the reference type, for each value, there will be a hidden reference type. For each value, there will be a hidden address. Note that reference type copy is made up of the value. The reference type copy, it is made up of value. What is that value? Whichever the value we have stored in the particular variable. Say for example, int a is equal to 5. So that 5 will be stored in the object. When you want to retrieve the value from the object, then you have to retrieve from object only. Why? Because the object holds the reference of the value. So here, like pointers, we are not dealing with the values here. We are dealing with the reference. We are dealing with the address of the variable. So value type is converted implicitly to object. So value type is converted implicitly to object. So next we have unbox. Unbox is unpacking. See, in one more way, I'll explain you packing and unpacking. What is the meaning of packing? We are taking one object, we are taking an item and we are putting it one bag. That is nothing but packing. Unpacking means taking out that item from that box is nothing but unpacking. So similarly, we are doing here unboxing. Unboxing is the inverse process of boxing. Unboxing is a inverse process of boxing. Copies the value out of the box and the copies from reference type of the value. So the unboxing copies the value. It copies the value from the reference type. It copies the value from the reference type, and it requires an explicit conversion. It requires a explicit conversion. Yes, students, see this example, boxing and unboxing example. See here, I have taken the integer variable int and I have stored in the variable I. I have stored in the variable I the integer data type. Integer data type I have stored in the variable I, and that I am assigning to, that I value is assigning to the object O. That I value I am assigning to the object O. Now the object O contains this value. The object O contains this value. This process is nothing but boxing. This process is nothing but boxing. See, when you want to box any value, you have to use this keyword box, or you have to use this keyword object. When you use this keyword object, that process is nothing but boxing. Now we are unboxing. This is unboxing. Here explicitly this, see what is this O contains? O contains the reference value of this I. O contains the reference value of this I. So this reference value is converting into the variable integer, and the variable in the variable j the value will be stored. In the variable j the value will be stored. When you display, a student, listen carefully, when you display the value of I, j and o, the output should be same. The output should be same. Why? Because the integer value, the integer data type, with the help of an integer data type, I have taken the variable I, and to the variable I am passing 1, 2, 3. I'm passing 1, 2, 3, and to this 1, 2, 3 value, with the help of this object keyword, I am boxing. And when you display this boxed value, the output will be 1, 2, 3. When you display this box value, the output will be 1, 2, 3. Again, to unbox that, we are explicitly, you need to typecast. Explicitly you need to typecast, and you are displaying the output with the variable j. So the output will be 1, 2, 3. The benefits of this boxing is, The benefits of boxing, it enables a polymorphism across all type in, see, here I have taken this poly. This poly is a method for all the type of data I have taken. So this the process of boxing. It enables a polymorphism across all types. See, when we do the lab session, we'll see this. I'll run and show the program, so you'll get a clear idea. So it enables a polymorphism across all types, and collection of classes work with all types, and it eliminates needs of wrapper class. Yes, why we use wrapper? Wrapper means what? We are wrapping the value. We are wrapping the value means we are packing some value. General meaning of wrapper means what? We are putting some cover, or we are in Kannada we say no, batte suttivi, like that we tell, no. So here to the variable we wrap. So we put it in one box. With the help of this boxing, we can eliminate the usage of wrapper class. We can eliminate the usage of wrapper class, and it replaces OLE automation variant. And in this in .NET C#, we have many examples. So I'm explaining one example here. See here, here we are doing boxing and unboxing. In this example, students, what is this? Using system. A system namespace which allows or which enables a usage of classes, objects, and it also supports to execute polymorphism, inheritance, and the usage of data types in the program. Here we are not declaring any collection of data type, we are not declaring. So that's why system dot collection, no need to use in the program. So this is a simple program. You can just use using system namespace. And what namespace definition we have seen in the last class. A namespace is nothing but it holds a group of executable statements. It contains a group of executable statements. For that group of executable statement, we are giving that a name. So that name will be represented here. So the lab project file name I have given. So whatever the file name I give, so that will be displayed here. And you know the comment line. You know how to do the comment line. If we have a single comment line, then if you use just this slash, 2 slashes, then it is enough. If we have a multiple comment line, then slash star, and the comment statement, the line should end with the star and slash. Now coming to the actual program. Here in this program, I am demonstrating boxing and unboxing. Take a value from the user, that is enter the number. The number is 100 I take. The number is 100 I take. And here after this statement int n is equal to int dot parse console dot read line. So from the console, whatever the statements we take, that will be passed in the form of an integer and is stored in the variable n. So now what n holds? N holds 100. N holds 100. Now this process is nothing but boxing. So we are putting this 100 in one box. means we are wrapping the 100 value. We are covering. Wrapping is nothing but covering. So with the help of using boxing method, so we can omit or we can eliminate this wrapper class. You can eliminate this wrapper class. So coming to the program, first we take a value from the keyboard. That value will be stored in the variable n. So n holds 100. So next what we are doing, we are boxing the value. We are boxing or we are wrapping the value. We are covering the value of n with the help of this object. This process is nothing but boxing. The OB variable is of type object type. Yes, students, listen carefully. For OB, I have not declared any data type. Is there any data type for OB variable? No. This OB is a type of object. This OB is a type of object. When you want to display, when you display the value of OB, when you display the value of OB, that OB holds this value 100. How with the help of this object, keyword, I have boxed the value. And when you display, and that value will be stored in the variable OB. That value will be stored in the variable OB. Means the meaning is the 100 value is wrapped or covered. The value 100 or the value n is covered, and it has stored in the variable OB. It has stored in the variable OB. That process is nothing but boxing. That process is nothing but boxing. So here we are assigning n value to the object OB, and this process is nothing but boxing. And when you display this OB, the output will be 100. When you display this OB, the output will be 100. And now this process is unboxing. This is unboxing. In unboxing, explicitly you have to convert. The object is explicitly converting in the form of an integer and storing in the variable s. And that s will be displayed here. So s will be displayed. When you display ls, the output will be 100. So this is boxing and unboxing process. Boxing and unboxing process. So the predefined data types of this C# is the predefined data type of this C# is the value type and the reference type. The value types are integer type, floating point value, decimal value, boolean value, character value. Reference types are object and string. The signed data type can be represented as sbyte, short, int, long. Unsigned data type, byte, short, ushort, uint, ulong. Character data type, char, float, decimal. And the logical data type has a boolean value. So it is represented with the data type bool, BOOL. Here just the size of the data type. Already we have discussed this. The size of byte is 1 byte. Size of short is 2 byte. Size of integer is 4 byte. And see, this is a system type. System.int3 32. Long, the data type long, the size is 8 byte. For the data type byte, the size is 1 byte. And for the data type U short, the size is 2 byte. For the data type U int, the size is 4 byte. And U long, the size is 8 byte. And the size of float is 4 byte. The size of double is 8 bytes. Students, I'll ask you one question. What is the size of character data type? What is the size of character data type? Anybody? What is the size of character data type? All are listening or not?
1 byte.
2 byte, ma'am.
1 byte. So how you can store a name in that data type because the size is only 1 byte? How you can store the name? Say for example, char n is my data type. Char n is my data type. I want to store BMS. I want to store BMS. Is it possible to store BMS in that variable, character variable n? Is it possible?
No.
No. So now how to make it as possible?
We'll create an array of characters that is string.
How?
Create a data type. String data type.
So with the help of character data type, it is not possible? No? No? With the help of character data type, is it not possible? Char n I have taken. Now I want to store BMS. No, I cannot store BMS in this variable. I cannot store. Correct. I cannot store. To store, no need to go for string data type. We have another option. Correct, no? Understood this? Or shall I write once again? See. Character char n, the size of n previous was only 1. It was able to hold only 1 character, but now I have changed to 10 character. Now I have changed to 10 character. Now if you display this BMS, in the variable n, is it possible to display? Yes. Yes. It is possible to. Somebody want to answer?
Said yes, that's it, ma'am.
It is possible to. Yes, it is possible to display, but when you check the size of this n, the size of n will be how much? 3. Correct, students? 3 or 2 or 4. What will be the size of n now? Now the variable n is displaying the output BMS. After displaying the output BMS, I want to know the size of n. What will be size of n? Is it 4? Yes, students, is it 4?
Yes, ma'am.
I say it is 4 because for each string at the end it takes a null character. At the end it takes a null character. So the size of this n, if you display, then it will be 4. It will be 4. Understood? Okay, students, I'll take attendance. I'll stop here. Today afternoon you have lab 145. All students will be having .NET lab. No split of B1, B2, B3, B4. Aditya?
Yes, ma'am.
Ajay?
Yes, ma'am.
Amit?
Yes, ma'am.
Seema?
Present, ma'am.
Apurva?
Ma'am, 4.
Present, ma'am.
What happened, Amit?
4, ma'am. USN. Present, ma'am.
I marked. I marked.
Okay, ma'am.
Apurva?
Present, ma'am.
Ashwini?
Yes, ma'am.
Bindu?
Yes, ma'am.
Divyesh? Divyesh is absent. Last class also he didn't come. Gaurish? Gaurish last class bandila. Gautami? Gunashekar?
Yes, ma'am.
Gautami is not there, no? Gautami. Harini? Harini
She is there, ma'am.
is there.
Yes, ma'am.
Purya?
Yes, ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
Nayana?
Yes, ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
Nazma?
Present, ma'am.
Nidhi?
Present, ma'am.
Nidhi last class absent. Pradeep?
Ma'am, Harini present, ma'am.
हाँ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಮ್ಮ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಪ್ರದೀಪ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಪ್ರೀತಿ?
Present, ma'am.
ಪ್ರೀತಿ is there. Rajesh is there. Sahadev is there. Sahadev is there, no?
Present, ma'am.
Saket?
Present, ma'am.
Santosh? Seema?
Yes, ma'am.
Seema? Sinchana?
Yes, ma'am.
Seema ilva? Seema absent? Seema is there? Seema is there? No, I think. Spurti? Suru? Varsha?
Present, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yashashwini?
Present, ma'am.
Amrita?
Present, ma'am.
Anusha?
Present, ma'am.
Apurva?
Yes, ma'am.
Sai Siddharth? Sai Siddharth, absent. Chetana? Kavya?
Yes, ma'am.
Kavya? Kavya is absent. Madhushri?
Yes, ma'am.
Manish?
Present, ma'am.
Sarfra?
Present, ma'am.
Sarfraz?
Sarfraz, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Murgesh?
Present, ma'am.
Mutamiz? Mutamiz? Paresh?
Present, ma'am.
Pooja?
Present, ma'am.
Prashant?
Present, ma'am.
Pratibha?
Present, ma'am.
Pratik?
Present, ma'am.
Sadhana? Shashank? Shashank? Shraddha? Sridhar,
Present, ma'am.
Tanuj,
Present, ma'am.
Tejaswini,
Present, ma'am.
Umehani,
Present, ma'am.
Ashish,
Present, ma'am.
Vidya Rani,
Present, ma'am.
Vishal.
Present, ma'am.
In Capgemini, two students got placed, no? Umehani and Apurva. Which Apurva?
Ma'am, 06 USM.
Which company, ma? Which company?
Capgemini, ma'am.
Capgemini only. Congrats, Umehani and Apurva. Congrats.
Thank you, ma'am.
All the best
Thank
for
you,
remaining
ma'am.
students. Yes, students, I'll stop here. We'll see in the next class.